Well, all right. So, well, guys, it has been a long time since I put out my last video, right? And it's because I'm still getting over, I'm still recovering from back surgery. It's going along excellent. Everything's on schedule. I just started physical therapy, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that, and it's going great. I was thinking probably by the end of February, I'd be good to go, and it's just perfect timing for the seasons to start, where I can start working on engines again. And because it's the beginning of January, so I still have a couple of months to go. But I think another month, it's feeling great. So in the meantime, I have done a lot of research on a lot of equipment that's coming out for 2024. And because I get a lot of calls from guys still, if I can't fix anything for them, they say, well, what should I go buy? What would you recommend? They're just ready to go out and get something right away. I mean, they have work to do, and so I'll tell them. And in this case, in this video, I'm going to look at chainsaws. It's that time of the year, and I'm getting a bunch of calls for chainsaws. And a lot of them, I can't work on them because I can't sit there and I can't pull the cord on all these engines yet. I'm just getting to the point of exercising my back, and pretty soon, I'm not going to push it. I don't want to go through this again. But with the chainsaws, so they're turning around and telling me, well, we have a job to do. What chainsaws, would you get? And I'll tell them, so I've kind of researched that, and that's what this video is going to be about, because, and it'll probably cover gas and electric now, and I'll cover the homeowner and the semi-professional or rancher, and because a lot of times, you really got to think about what you're going to be using the chainsaw for, your frequency, how many times a year you're going to use it, and it'll kind of guide you on to, what equipment should you have. And for the homeowner, it's probably a no-brainer. But there are some guys just like the big equipment. I'm the same way. I have one that, I haven't used in a while, but it's just a hefty chainsaw. I love it, and I'll show you what I have later. But I'm going to look at, like I said, gas and electric, and these are some that I've run across, and I get good performance, long-lasting chainsaws. When I do have to go in and do any repairs or maintenance, it's easy to get to, easy to service it, and I have to tell you, I'm not sponsored by any of these brands. I'm not sponsored, but I am an Amazon affiliate. So if you follow a link, and get one off of Amazon, then I'll get a commission on it at no extra cost to you, right? But I am not sponsored by any of these brands. So that's where it sits. Let's get started, and I'll show you what I found. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to start with the homeowner in mind, and I'm talking about light to medium duty jobs, out there, cleaning up the backyard, cleaning up some trees, maybe even cutting a small one down. But the frequency of use also, you might just use it once, maybe twice a year. And like during this time when it's time to go out and trim some of the branches down, or bushes or whatever, just the light duty stuff, the light to medium duty stuff. And with the gas models, there are 3 models that come to mind, in my opinion, that stand out, as far as for performance and reliability, all that good stuff. And you can see I'm just flipping through Amazon right now, because you could probably find just about everything you want, well, except for Stihl. And I think that's the only stuff I saw. I had to look at this one twice, where it says Stihl battery operated chainsaw with sound kids toy. I was like, what the hell are they talking about? It's like, oh, okay, well, the whole thing is a toy for kids. All it does is make the sound and, you know, whatever. And then there's this battery operated hand pruner chainsaw, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have any price on it. It looks like it's not available, but you know, this I searched specifically for Stihl, and there's just nothing. So, but you can find, yeah, you can find them at Ace Hardware and Northern Tool. Those seem to be the couple of the main places to get one. And luckily, there is an Ace Hardware real close to me. But the one I'm specifically looking at, this one right here, the MS 171, and it has a 16-inch blade. And when I'm talking about these three models that are coming up, they're all about the same size, as far as from a 14, 16, maybe up to an 18-inch chainsaw. And engine-wise, from 25 up to 30. This one's 31.8 cc engine, and that's what'll give you your power and what can you cut through. And all three of these fall into that same category, like I said, and around the same price. This is $229, and that's pretty good over at Ace. Northern Tool, if you go look at them sometimes. Let's see. Is that the same one, 16-inch? I don't see the model. Am I going blind here? But yeah, it looks like it's the same at $199. In Northern Tool, a lot of times they'll have some specials going on. But it's a very decent chainsaw, and one that it's one of my favorite ones, and I rarely have to work on them, right? And that goes to show. I mean, the next one is an Echo, and these I find at Home Depot, and I'm looking at the Echo, the CS310 is one of my favorites. And in that area, this is a CS400, but you can see it has the 18 and the larger engine, so it's getting up there. Here we go. Is that it? The CS310. That's it. So you can see it's around the same price range, $219, 14-inch blade, and a 30cc engine. So about the same specs. And what I've liked about Echoes, I have worked on a few. I have one of my customers that really gives it a pretty good workout. You know what I mean? He's a professional, landscaper guy, and I think he needs to step up a notch. But this is one of his main chainsaws, and I've gone in just to have to replace the carburetor or clean out the muffler and everything, because it's like it was stalling, or it wouldn't rev up, and it just seemed like it was bogging down. It turned out it was the exhaust. It was so clogged with crap, and so I gave it a tune-up. But what I like about them, I'm starting to ramble on here, but what I like about them is they're really easy to work on. I think they put some thought into it when they considered aftermarket maintenance on it. And what else? There is the Husqvarna 130, which I like Husqvarnas. I actually, have a few of them myself. And the Husqvarna, let's see, where am I at? Oh, this is at Lowe's. So yeah, the Husqvarna, Lowe's usually carries quite a few, and this one also, I think you can find a lot of the Husqvarnas on Amazon. Yep, there we go. So along this level, I've liked, yeah, like here's the Husqvarna 120. I've liked the 120 and the 130. And the 120, I was kind of surprised. I didn't realize it was a 38cc engine. I thought it was down around the 30 range, but it's 16-inch chain on it, and they're just little workhorses. I have one that's that I've had forever. Gosh, what's that model number? Let me let's see. Yeah, the 120 at Lowe's, same thing, 259. They're just a little higher. Well, let me find my old chainsaw. I forget which one I have. It's something like that. The one, I thought it was a 130. I have two of those, but I've had them for years and years and years. And they're the ones I use the most. But those are the top three that I do, and they are very popular brands. The Stihl, Echo, and Husqvarna. But that's what I recommend in that range. So the next, if we're moving up to the semi-professional, there's a couple of models that I've used in that range. Now the Echo, I'm sure Echo makes a great one. I just have no experience with stepping it up to that size. The ones I've liked have been, there's a Husqvarna and a Stihl again. And the Husqvarna is like, it's ranging from this, from the 440, what is it, the 440, the 450, 455, and I think there's a 460 out now. Yeah, here's a 450, but you can see it bumps it up. Here's up to a 50cc engine and a 20-inch chain on it, and it's, I mean, a lot of power. And the other one, the 455 Rancher, if they're still putting those out. Let's see, let's go back to let's go back to Amazon. Yeah, there's the 455 Rancher. See, it's the same thing, 20-inch blade, but this has a 55cc engine. There's the 450 with the 50cc engine, 18-inch blade. You can see it's just going up a notch every time. And I believe there's a 460. Yep, there's the 460. So you're looking at a 60cc engine, 24-inch chainsaw. I mean, that's huge. And the Husqvarna I have on this one, okay, I'm going to have to look that up too. It was like the 360 something. But let's see. It was more like this. It had the 60, it has a 60 or a 59cc engine actually, and but I have an 18-inch blade on it. So it has that huge engine just really pumping it out, and I mean, I just swear by that one. So those are the Husqvarnas that I have. Let's see. Let's go take a look at what I've got out there. Yeah, so here are my two Husqvarnas. The 136, which I've had, man, I don't know how long I've had that thing. I have two of them actually. One of them that really looks like it's been through it, but still going strong. Same model. I'm trying to think of how long I've had this thing. It must be 20 years, you know, who knows. And this one's my heavy duty one. It's the Husqvarna 359. That is it. And the 59 is, of course, like I said, it has the 59cc engine, and I have an 18-inch. Sometimes I wish I had a 20-inch on that one, but it does fantastic. I mean, that thing, I've cut down many trees with this sucker. And it's out in East Texas where we had a lot of pine, and yeah, so that's where that one usually goes. But those are my two. Yeah, so those were my, especially that Husqvarna, that 359. That's been an awesome chainsaw. And the only thing with the Husqvarna Ranchers, I believe it was the 440 back in the day. Was it? I think it was a 440. But that one I did have to work on quite a few of those. They were starting to pump them out at Home Depot, and apparently they sold quite a few of them. But I ended up having to to work on a lot of them. But I think it was the user error, not not putting out a proper oil and gas mixture, and they were burning them up. But that's it, just those two, that and the Stihl MS 271. Did I show you that one? Let's see, let's search. Here's the 271. Let's go straight to the source here and look at the specs. Oops. Oh yeah, come on. There's the specs. Yep, there's the size of 50cc. So it's right on par with that Husqvarna, the 450, 455, in that range. And but those are two of my favorites when you get up to that size of chainsaw. Anything bigger, that's where I kind of lose my expertise. But you can just imagine some of those larger ones that were let's see, yeah, the 455, this one the 460, so the 60cc and the 24-inch chainsaw, that's pretty decent. But anything over that is out of my realm, right? But one thing I have been looking at while I started to research all this, I mean, I started noticing all of the electric chainsaws that are out there, like that right there. I mean, there's a little bitty hand-operated one. I'll just do a quick search on electric chainsaws. And a lot of these, I was really surprised. The electric ones are really taking over. As far as, if you go to Lowe's and you go take a look at any equipment, and when you're in the lawn and garden area, probably 75 to 80% of everything is all electric now. You go over there and there might be only 2 or 3 models of gas mowers anymore. And but with this, the chainsaws, you can get the larger ones. Yeah, they're all gas. It's all the professional stuff. The larger stuff is still going to be gas. But when you start looking at the Homeowner handheld, the smaller stuff, mowers, trimmers, blowers, you know, all the essential for home use, it's all electric these days. And I was really surprised at some of the electric chainsaws that are coming out. And a lot of them, I've been looking at Ego. Let's see, let's do a quick search. Yeah, so I've been looking, and I've seen some really nice, the light and medium duty chainsaws that are very reliable and very effective. Now, I don't have any long-term experience with these, but I know the batteries are lasting very long, and I guess that has to do a lot with some of my decision making on what chainsaw I'm going to look at, is because I believe in standardizing on the battery. So instead of going here and say the Ego and you get the batteries for it, and then you turn around and you have DeWalt hand tools or Milwaukee hand tools and Craftsman mower or Craftsman. So you have all these different batteries, right? And for each unit, you have to have so many batteries and the chargers to go with it. But if you standardize on a brand, say DeWalt, if you standardize on their equipment, they have a huge portfolio of equipment that will work on that 20 volt battery setup, right? And that way you can gauge, okay, I only need this many batteries, chargers, and the rest of it, I have all the tools that will run off of it, right? And that's where DeWalt started coming out, and Milwaukee also. You can see there, they're coming out with their yard tools also. They're really big on handheld tools, and now they're bleeding into this on that same premise that, well, people are going to start standardizing on the battery. So, but let's go. So I have 3 models that come to mind, and some of them I have some direct experience with, and one of them, like this Ego, I don't have direct experience with it, but I have, with my ear to the wall, I've heard a lot about them. I've talked to people about them, and I have friends that have a lot of Ego stuff that I don't have yet. But and this one, this is the model I'm talking about, I believe. The CS, the 1804 or 1604. Yeah, and this is actually the bestseller. Let's see what it's going for. I'll add it to the cart. $319. So yeah, so that's, and I think they're all within that, about that same range. $319. What is this DeWalt going for? Well, we'll find out. Let me back up here. I'm sure it's around the same price. Did they even? No, they didn't give a price. And also, when you're pricing stuff up, take a look. Like this one here. This DeWalt has the 20 volt max compact 12-inch. It's a chainsaw kit, so it has the battery, charger, and all that stuff with it. While over here, here's the same model, but it's the tool only. So there's going to be a price difference, even though that's all the same. So that way, you can just go in and buy the tool without having to buy the battery if you don't need it. But just take notice when you're pricing everything up that that they set it up that way. While it might look expensive at one place and cheaper at another, it's like, well, it's not. It's the same product, but one has the battery and one doesn't. But so those are the ones I was looking at. The Ego, which I've really liked a lot of their equipment. I'm going to have to start getting my hands on a lot more. The DeWalt model, that's the one we were just looking at, and the Milwaukee. Is this the right model? It's in the same price range, $350. Well, this one's actually seems like a little expensive. The rest of them are $300. This one's $350 without the battery, with the tool only. So, but I have to say that's what I've standardized on. I have Milwaukee batteries, and even though I know a lot of this equipment's expensive, but I think it's well worth it. I think I've had one item from Milwaukee, one of my impact wrenches that went bad. I shipped it off under warranty, and you can even track it. You can track it through when they receive it, when as it's being repaired, when it's being shipped off, and boom. And they did a really fast, efficient job and got that tool back in my hands within a week. Right, it was a few days shipping to get there. They repaired it right away, and then shipped it back. So most of that time was shipping time, but they definitely honored their warranties, and they get it back in your hands, right? So, but any of these, if you're going to standardize on a battery, those are the top three, and as it goes, they're the top three on my chainsaw list too. And so far, they'll between these brands, they'll probably be in my top three. Even with mowers and all that good stuff. But just when you're doing that, just take the batteries into consideration. It's a big factor. Now, I know there has been a bunch of these mini chainsaws. I have to talk about it because like here on Amazon, if you go in and search mini chainsaw or electric chainsaw, look at all these mini chainsaws that pop up. I mean, they're everywhere. And they all have that same look, right? And I have to, I can't help but to talk about it because there's so many of them out there. And to tell you the truth, I have actually used one of these. Let's see, let me back up. I thought I saw it. Yeah, this one right here. So you can see it's a little 6-inch chainsaw. Comes with 2 batteries. And I think mine were 20 volt. It's a little different, same brand, but I don't remember. It's been a year since I've looked at these things. But the batteries look the same. It comes with 2 of them. I mean, everything in that kit, for $80. And I have to say, I was pretty impressed. It was doing some real light jobs. They were just trimming some of the branches off of just trimming it was an oak tree, but just getting all the little small stuff out, and it just cut them through like butter, right? And it was really small, easy to handle, and I was pretty impressed. I'm still using it, and I'll probably use it here pretty soon. It's that time of the year, but if it was just real quick, light duty work, it was just bam, bam. I mean, it was just easy out, do the job, popped it back in, charge the battery, do whatever you want. But I've never even come close to using one of these batteries completely. And I think they're really cheap. I think they're worth it. If you take a look at, there's a ton of the different brands, that are out there. Some are really, really cheap. You can see the range from, look at this, $40, up to 120, 130. And I think as long as you don't abuse it and just do routine maintenance, make sure you put you oil the chain and everything, and wear proper safety equipment, as these aren't toys. So no matter if you get one of these little mini electric ones or regular electric or gas, make sure you have all the proper safety equipment that goes with it, right? And you can find all this on Amazon also. Let's see. Safety gear. Yeah, so There you go. All the gloves. You can, a helmet with a visor or goggles, whichever one you want. I think I have this set up right here, and it works really well. It's very inexpensive, but it did the job, right? I'm out there the few times that I go with that huge chainsaw. I mean, it really saves your ears, saves your face. They're a good set of gloves is a must. And if you're doing some heavy duty stuff, this is a classic equipment here. You have your chaps, gloves, and the helmet with the visor on it with ear protection. I mean, that's the whole package right there. But you can shop around, just get some good stuff. Get some stuff that will do the job. And last but not least, for looking at these chainsaws when you talk electric, well, some of them are still corded. You still have that category where you run around with the extension cord and do your thing. Here's an Oregon one, but you can see the price difference from $106 for a corded one, and it's what, $300 for the battery operated. Well, it's because you don't have the cost of the batteries, chargers, all that stuff to worry about, and it really knocks the price down. There's Oregon brands, there's the cheapo, and to tell you the truth, in the early days, yeah, I think I had a Craftsman, an older version of this, and a McCullough, I believe, which is now part of Husqvarna, I believe. But I had those two, and they worked great. I have to say, they cut really well. Very low maintenance. Just make sure you oil the chain just like any other chainsaw. But like with any corded equipment, it's a pain in the butt sometimes. You're very limited because of your extension cord, right? So that's about the only reason, like for these quick jobs, I find it easier just to reach out and grab this thing. And there's I thought it was a DeWalt. What is this thing? DeRaff. Okay, that's classic. A DeRaff. When you look at it, I was thinking DeWalt, but it's made to fit the DeWalt batteries. But yeah, who'd have guessed? But let's back up. I thought that was great. DeRaff. So what was I saying? I found it easier to grab one of these handheld battery ones, and you can walk away. You can walk as far as you want to do your job. You're not held by your extension cord. You don't have to worry about it getting all tangled up or cutting it or anything like that. But those are my 2 cents on the corded chainsaws. If you have one and it's working for you, fantastic. I used to do the same. Yeah, so I guess that is it. When you're looking for a chainsaw, take into account how many times you're going to use it and what are you going to use it for. Is it just for some, really, really light trimming, pruning, or do you have some larger branches to cut off, or do you have a couple of trees that you need to cut down, right? So consider all that before you make your decision. And regardless of what you decide, or whether it be an electric or a gas chainsaw, always look for safety features on the unit and have proper safety equipment that you wear. You need some eye protection, whether it be goggles or a mask, a good set of gloves, a good set of boots, earwear. With electric mowers, they're a little quieter, but you still might want some earwear, to protect your ears. And some chaps if you wear pants or chaps or something that are made for for the professional, but you can still use them. They could save your legs. I mean, all that safety equipment, because these chainsaws aren't toys. Don't take them for granted. If you do, you know, you could get hurt, you know. So I guess that is it for this video. I'll include all the links to all these models and all these chainsaws. I'll include some Amazon links, and if they're not on Amazon, I'll include some links over to whatever, you know, store I usually see them at. And I guess that's it. So as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.